Hello iChurches, it's Dan Morrell here back with another tutorial on how to navigate around and edit your iChurch site. Today we are going to be looking at customizing and editing the menu. Now, some of you may have been a bit confused up to this point, I'm not sure, on why new pages that you create don't appear in your menu. And that's because where we edit our menu is different from where we edit our pages. So we have our list of pages here. This is simply just a list, and they're displayed, as you can see, actually in alphabetical order. If we want to change the order of how our pages are just listed, and as I say, I re-emphasize that this is just how they're listed in the back end, then we can do this by changing the order. If they are all set to the same number, which in this case is 0, although there is debate in the maths world as to whether 0 is a number, but that's for another day, then they will display in alphabetical order. But if you want to actually order them in any way you want, you can change the order to 1, 2, 3, etc., and they will display in numerical order. That's just a quick tip if you want, but editing the menu is in a different place. And to do this, we hover over Appearance and we click Menus. You'll only have one menu set up usually for your iChurch site. You only ever really need one. So this one's called the iChurch 5 menu. Yours might be named slightly differently. The name is kind of irrelevant, really. And you'll see here is the menu that is already set up. And I'm just going to go into the front end of the site to show you how that reflects. So we have our kind of top level navigation, our primary level, and that's the first thing that people see. The home, about, news, church history, church life, community, and contact us. Of course, your site will be arranged slightly differently usually, but this is our top level navigation. And we can see that by these pages here that are closest to the left hand side. So if I was to scroll down, we can see home, about, news, church history, church life, community, and contact us. Exactly the same as we saw it on the front end. If I was to hover over these, you'll see we've got some sub pages. And these are reflected here as they are slightly indented from the top level navigation and are also called sub items. If I've created a page and I wanted to add it to the menu, then I can then I do it all on this left hand side here, and I can either view the most recent pages that have been created, or I can just view them all. And again, here they are in alphabetical order, which is quite helpful, or we can search for a page. In one of the previous tutorials, I created this aptly named tutorial page, so I'm going to add it. So I'm going to tick tutorial and click add to menu. That's now been added, but where is it? It's down at the bottom, so just make sure that you're scrolling to the bottom to see the new pages that you've added. You'll see it's automatically been added as a top level page. So if I was to click save menu at this point and then refreshed, I'll just wait for it to finish loading here, as you can see. Once it's finished loading, I click refresh, and there it is. Tutorial has been added to my menu. If for some reason I wanted to put tutorial as a sub item, in this case of contact us, I can click and hold tutorial and drag it, and you'll see it's dropped in there as a sub item. Just to see how that pans out on the front end, click save menu again, wait for it to finish loading, and then click refresh, and you'll see tutorial is now a sub menu, a sub item of contact us. If I wanted to drag it back out again, then I can either click and drag, you'll see that's done it there, or actually what I can do is click this down arrow here and click out from under contact us. So that's going to take it out, you see, and put it to a top level navigation. If I want to rearrange the pages, I can either click and drag all of these items, you'll see here, Or, as indicated before, when I click this arrow, I've got my navigation here. So up one, down one, or out from under community. You can create sub items as well, like this. I mean, WordPress still calls them sub items, but of course they're kind of the third layer. But we find usually this is quite a difficult way for people to navigate around the website because they're having to go into lots of different levels of navigation. So try to keep it as just primary level and then a sub item. The next thing we're going to be looking at is creating custom links. You'll see these things here are called custom links. Now, you can use custom links to navigate to anywhere in the World Wide Web, really. Or you can actually just use custom links to create top level navigation. Because this about page here, when we click on it, it actually doesn't do anything. It's just a placeholder under which we can put all of our sub items. So if we were wanting that, because this is just a good way of structuring our website, if we were wanting something like that, just a place to hold other things, then we go to custom links here on the left hand side, and instead of typing in an actual URL, we just type the hash key. And that basically just says to the computer, says to the internet, we don't want it to go anywhere, we just want it to be in existence. And I'm going to type in my link text, which I'll just call test, and I'm going to add that to the menu. And again, it's been added all the way to the bottom. And let's say I wanted to put tutorial underneath test. I'll click save. And click refresh. And we'll see test has appeared and tutorial is underneath. But when I click on test, nothing happens. And it might be a good thing. It might be what you want to happen. One thing I often like to do with my iChurch site is instead of have the custom link as nothing that you can click on, I might actually want it to navigate to perhaps the first sub item of that section. So if I wanted, or any other page of this section, the first one seems to make the most sense, of course. So here is how to do that. So you may have seen this. Here is the URL. That's basically the website address. So if I really wanted to, I could have it navigate to an external website, perhaps the URC website. So I just type in the web address, urc.org.uk, and that will work. So if I was to click save, then if anyone was to click about, it would take them to the URC website. Equally, we do a very similar thing for navigating internally. So if we wanted, when people click on the About page, to go to the Who Are We, then we go to the Who Are We page on the front end just to check that we want the correct URL, the web address. So you see it's tutorial1 urc.org.uk/who are we. And I'm just going to select that and copy it. So right click and copy, or Control or Command C, and then simply paste it in. So that's Control or Command V, or right click and paste, and then save the menu. And whilst that finishes loading, I'll click then refresh. If I was to click on About, you'll see it's taken us to the Who Are We page. So that's a handy way of navigation, and it also helps you almost determine where the visitors will go, because visitors like to click, of course. They like to click in various places on your website, see what is clickable and what isn't. And the more things that you make clickable and that navigate to places that you want them to go, then that will help get them the right information that they need, or perhaps give them information they didn't know they needed. So that's a way you can use custom links on your menu to do this. You can also, as well as pages, add posts. We don't see this as the best of features or a feature that you really need to do, because if a post is going to be in a static place, then it might as well be a page. So we're not going to look much at that, but again, it's the same process as adding a page. There are other things you can add to your menu, particularly categories is noteworthy, but we're going to be looking at that in a later tutorial. That's because that's a little bit more advanced stuff. So tune in for that tutorial, but also tune in for any more tutorials that are going to come along very soon. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you're just getting a little bit stuck, then please do email the iChurch team, ichurch@urc.org.uk. Bye bye.